Hi everybody, it's Gunny here from Orochinagi.com. Today we're going to review the King of Fighters Ultimate History as published by Bitmap Books. To put it shortly, I think it's a worthwhile purchase, but I think customers need to be aware of the proportion of text to the amount of screenshots that are contained within this book. Needless to say, it's definitely a worthwhile purchase. However, paying like, was it 70, 50, whatever pounds for 30% worth of text might make you pause. But at the same time, when you have the actual official, well printed, well documented, shiny book on your shelf, I don't think this is something that you can easily replace, and I think you're going to be proud to have that in your possession. And whereas a lot of people now are happy with a digital format, a PDF, where you can just, you know, swipe on your things, I mean, for me, maybe perhaps for my generation, there is a lot more pleasure in holding something, right? And this is the kind of book that you want to leave on your coffee table. And that's the funny thing about this. It's like, you could say, okay, 30% of it is text, 70% of it is just screenshots. However, when people come to visit, they're not going to read. They're going to look at the screenshots. So it's like, this is actually a great coffee table book to have. People just go, oh, pretty pictures, right? And so I'm going to go for a couple of the things that are in this book, right? Obviously, you can't show you everything, but as you can see, the book covers classic Shinkiro illustrations, and we've got a couple of people actually I recognize that you might know in the community. It's Christopher Raza there, and Brian Hargrove as well as a consultant, and good job to James and Joy Milker, who did a lot of interviews over in Japan. And like I said, in the book, you're going to have introduction, forward, history, game, and then you see immediately forward, history, 6 to 66 is history, and after that it's art. And you're like, okay, and then you go back to some interviews from 488 to 544. And you're like, and this makes this book very, very heavy, right? But a lot of artwork. So, if you've never read anything about SNK, if you've never known anything about what happened and the surroundings of the start of KOF, this is the book for you, because it's going to tell you all about it. Some of the fans, the hardcore fans, will actually recognize a lot of this. We know these stories. It's kind of interesting they actually mention like Capcom and stuff. You're like, oh, okay, right? But yeah, some really interesting details if you've never heard of it before. And they refer to the older arcade games, and like, it's interesting. It's like, hey, this guy looks like Takuma Sakazaki. You're like, well, yeah, right. I don't think it actually confirms it though, which is kind of one of the things actually, or one of the things that I think fans will be interested and also a little bit, well, let's not say annoyed, but let's just say they might still have some questions that are not answered. So Karate Man here looks similar. They don't say he is, which is still up for debate. But if it's in the book, you're just like, well, that's that, isn't it? It's not Takuma, which is kind of sad, but there we go. So this is not an actual screenshot. Actually, I shouldn't really show you this, but anyway, this is a mock-up of the original game that King of Fighters was supposed to be. At the time, King of Fighters was kind of part of the trend was making fighting, scrolling beat-em-up games, and they were going to call it Survivor. And I'm not going to say anymore, just have to read the book in it. But the fans know this, and the funny thing is, if you've been following certain people, you've seen some of the stuff that's been in this book actually has been already been tweeted out there. And like I said, I'm not going to show you everything, right? But it's really, really cool to see some of the old stuff, all the design stuff. This was, I'm pretty sure, like somebody tweeted this one earlier, and you know, about Bloodsport at the time, the Jean-Claude Van Damme film, and you can see the influence right there. You're like, okay, and you can see here show, right? It's Kyo, but show was show before it became Kyo, and it's really, really cool. If you haven't seen that, it's really, really good to know about the history of KOF there, right? And of course, you get to see some nice artwork. Again, we've seen it all before, but on nice shiny paper. I'm sure it's going to be great to have on that coffee table. Lots of interviews, some design stuff, lots of screenshots. I'm not going to go into it in detail. You need to buy it, support, right? Some photos of the good old days. And let's see over here. There's a really cool part about what happened during the testing stage for King of Fighters 94, and how the media was regarding this whole game, this whole concept, and how it changed after release. And some really cool stuff. I don't want to spoil it for you. I'm sure somebody will share their PDF at some point. But frankly, I think the point of this book is really a physical thing to have, and just to actually like feel it. And so I'll be getting mine later. But they give you the digital. If you download it, if you buy it, you get the digital download for free. And of course, the screenshots are in lower quality, of course, to stop people like me sharing it, right, or just streaming it. So don't worry about the quality of the digital version. It's going to be lower than the original, than the real thing, right? But you get to see some cool stuff. And of course, if you've never seen like some of the artwork printed on paper, some of the classic posters, that's going to be really nice. But for the fans, of course, you've seen it already. You've seen it before. You're like, yeah, okay, I know. But it's nice to have it in your hand. And frankly, if you wanted to print this out yourself, which is kind of possible, it's going to take a lot of ink and a lot of photo quality paper, right? But I think, yeah, it's like you get here and you go, okay, here's all the artwork for the King of Fighters. You're like, right, yeah, well, I've probably seen it. But okay, so you got screenshots, 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 and you're just like, yeah, well, I could do that, but you can't print it out. You could, but put it in a book and stuff. Come on, man, that's not it. It's got to be a nice shiny book. That's how we like these things, right? And then you've got a nice organization of some of the portraits and stuff for the KOF, the classic stuff. You know, the classic stuff. Not saying anything about that. Some of sprite rips. You know, you gonna take the time to do it yourself? Come on, man. Right? Some lovely screenshots. And yeah, it looks rubbish now. Like I said, low quality, but as well, you know, right? But lots and lots and lots of screenshots, lots of screenshots. But you know, frankly, you just imagine that you're, you know, like I said, on the coffee table or sitting in your chair. It's going to be very nostalgic, bring back memories, and you're not going to have time to just make this yourself. You could do it with like some 500 pages, bruv. You're not going to do this, mate. You'll kill your printer. Don't do it. This is a much better way to do this, right? So you go through 94, 95, 96, blah 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 blah, loads and loads of billions of screenshots, right? And you're like, okay, all right, fine. Lots of screenshots. Okay, great. Some nice cool stuff. Rasputin. The classic stuff. Some awesome things. And then after 50 billion years of screenshots, right, you get to finally another batch of interviews. Oh, even King of Fighters 4. Actually, one thing I've got to point out, right, when you get to character art, you're like Andy Attenborough, Benny, Billy Kane, Billy Khan, I should say, Benny, Blue, Mary, Bennett, Thea Chang. Wait, hold on. Where's Adelheid? Where is Choi Chizuruk-shin. Where is K49? K49 is not there, and Nameless is not there either. And I'm pretty sure they're quite important to the history of KOF, and that isn't covered. And I'm like, okay. But you know, for what they do have, you've got lots of nice things. Again, some of this stuff you haven't seen before, some of this stuff you have, right? Like I said, again, it's great stuff. You can take it to the toilet or the bath and just sit there and look over all the cool stuff. Another thing they don't have the unused portraits. Oh wait, that is the unused portrait. Wait, maybe I'm wrong. Hold on, wait. No, that is the unused one, right? Hold on. Or is it? You know, one way to find out is to go look for Maxima, because then I'll know for sure, right? But I remember Nona had some stuff that was like, reject! They were like, no! You're not allowed to have that! And Chang as well, yeah, Chang's... Oh, well, whatever. There's a lot of artwork out there. You can't fit it all in one book, right? So you got the classic stuff. It's like, yeah, nice. Okay. And some stuff you haven't seen before. You're like, ooh, cool. All right. But there, look, there's Maxima. Not gonna talk about his history with you know, that other game, right? And you don't have the unused art. You're like, But still, I mean, like I said, you know what, like, I mean, you think about it, this is already 500 pages, bruv. If you go through all the artwork, you're gonna have, you can't actually fit it all into a book. It's mad. So I'm not gonna spoil it for you, right? But there are some cool artworks in there, and some very special artworks in there that you won't see in any other publication, probably. Okay. Some really cool stuff, and like I said, it's just good to have in your hands, really. And so you go through all these characters and the classic posters, right? The classic artworks. That's awesome, right? And like some of these you've definitely seen before, and you might have some of the older SNK books. You've got some of these already, right? But it's, especially if you don't have these, then you've finally got them. So that is awesome, right? And then after 500 and blah 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 pages, right, going for the King of Fighters, rah 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 rah, you finally get some interviews, which is totally unique stuff, right? And you've got some nice pixel rendering. And I'm definitely not gonna spoil that for you, right? There's Masaki Kokino, hey! Awesome, right? Eisuke and Hideki as well, right? So that is cool. Definitely good reading there. And I think really, yeah, you know, the fan who's seen all the artworks and most of the artworks, that's the stuff they're going to be really interested in. And that's the kind of point where you're like, wait, 30% of this book is text and really cool interviews, really interesting and insightful, and okay, maybe a bit of a fluff piece because they're not really going to say anything negative, but you like the rest of it is like, even if I wanted to say like 30%, 50% artwork you've already seen before, you're like, it makes you hesitate a little bit. But as I said, to have that all neatly printed out for you on good quality paper, I hope it's good quality paper. I haven't actually had it in my hands yet. I'm assuming it will be. But to have all of that nicely stuck in a book, blam, that sounds like a good thing to me. Arguably, of course, you could wait for maybe a sale, right? But I think if you want to support and show Bitmap Books that KOF is worth supporting, maybe they could do some more stuff and find out more people to interview and do some different screenshots. Why not have another art book? Or maybe just an art book. Or something, right? But this is good. I still recommend this book. I'm going to give it... I'm going to give it very good. How about that? Right, there we go. So, if you're still on the ropes, maybe wait for a reduction in price. But they're only like, in fact, they're only like, I think 3,000 made of these. So, the price is probably actually going to go up. So, you might want to just invest in one or two copies, put it on the shelf, and watch the price go up. rarity, you know, the market, and maybe sell it later for a profit. But frankly, I'm not selling mine. That's staying with me on my shelf, and that's going to look very, very nice there. All right, so there we go. If you've got any questions, leave a comment on YouTube, and hopefully I won't get blacklisted. All right, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. This is Gunny from MotorOzzyUnagi.com.